comments on the minister's law before he pulls the comments down offline. The Globe and Mail called the minister's performance amateur hour on C10. Open Media has said the Prime Minister...
For Carlton.
But the more he spends, the more it costs. The housing prices have gone from $450,000 under the last year of the Conservative government to $716,000 under this government, up 32% in just over a year. We now have the biggest housing bubble in the world outside of New Zealand, and Toronto and Vancouver are the fifth and second most expensive housing markets in the world, ahead of Manhattan, San Francisco, London, and others. So if this Prime Minister is not to blame, then exactly what is causing this housing price inflation?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
One has to at least recognize that the Conservatives are consistent in their approach and that they want to do less whenever they're confronted with a problem. Canadians are challenged with a housing crisis right now, and we are moving forward with programs to help first-time homebuyers, to invest money for municipalities so that they can cut red tape and build more supply, to work with the provinces on initiatives that are going to bring forward more housing and tie it into rapid transit. These are initiatives we're putting forward. The Conservatives' answer, well, you have to do less then. Well, that is unfortunately the kind of austerity that they continue to push despite the fact that Canadians need help.
The Honourable Member for Carlton.
Well, when Conservatives were in office, it cost less to own a home. The average family could buy a place for $450,000, not the $720,000 of today. Why are prices rising so suddenly? Well, the amount of wealthy landlords buying houses went up by 100% since March of 2020, according to the Bank of Canada. What happened in March of 2020? That was when the government began printing money, flooding the mortgage system, and ballooning housing costs. When will they stop flooding the market with cheap cash for wealthy landlords?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
First of all, Mr. Speaker, I recommend that the member opposite take a careful look at the Bank of Canada's independent mandate around monetary policy, which on this side of the House we respect. Secondly, it's interesting that the member opposite brings up wealthy landlords, because the heart of the plan they put forward and he defended in that last election was about giving wealthy landlords a tax break to help them sell their buildings. Nothing for families. Nothing for affordable housing, Mr. Speaker. That was the Conservative plan. And again, they're complaining that we're doing too much to help families. Mr. Speaker, we will keep doing more.
House price in Canada right now is $717,000. You want to know what it was last year, Mr. Speaker? $606,000. That's an 18.2% increase. Now, in 2015, when this Prime Minister came into office, it was $450,000. So to the Prime Minister, under what metric in the world can he explain that his plan is working?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, from 2015 onwards, we began to invest in housing in this country that had been underinvested in by the federal government for many years. We came forward with the National Housing Strategy in 2017 that has led to hundreds of thousands of families getting into new homes. We further built on initiatives with like the First-Time Homebuyers Incentive, like the Rapid Housing Initiative, and we've just put forward a $4 billion investment towards municipalities to help build more supply. And this contrasts with the Conservative plan to give tax breaks to wealthy landlords. Mr. Speaker, we are acting to fight this housing crisis.
The Honourable Member for Edmonton Riverbend.
So, Mr. Speaker, what he just said is that he's offloading all the responsibility onto the provinces and the municipalities. Now, who he's going to blame once that fails? The provinces and the municipalities. Now, Conservatives had a plan in the last election, and it was to sell off 15% of federal government assets to increase supply. So my question to the Prime Minister, when will he get off his assets and help Canadian families?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, while the Conservatives play partisan attacks, we focus on Canadians. We actually are moving forward with a $4 billion investment in municipalities to support the rapid advancement of housing, the building of supply, the working beyond even the rapid housing initiative we've moved forward on. We've signed landmark deals with the provinces across the country on investing in housing. We will continue to be there for first-time home buyers with a dedicated program with also the ability to reduce costs on closing ownership. There are many initiatives we're putting forward because we know there isn't any one silver bullet to fix this. It is a comprehensive approach, and that's what we're doing.
Racist blackface. The ongoing housing supply shortage. So now we have an inflationary crisis and a housing supply shortage. Why doesn't the Prime Minister have a plan to get houses built?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Speaker, we will take no lessons from the Conservative Party of Canada when it comes to investing in housing. For 10 years under Stephen Harper, they did nothing on housing, which is why we stepped up in 2017 with a national housing strategy and indeed are stepping up now with $4 billion for municipalities to invest and to accelerate the construction of new housing supply, which contrasts with the Conservatives' approach, which was to give massive tax breaks to wealthy landlords to help them sell their buildings. That wouldn't have helped housing costs in Canada. We are acting and we are delivering.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister likes to go back in time to a Conservative government, back when there was a balanced budget, Mr. Speaker, low taxes, Mr. Speaker, and when Canadians weren't falling behind in their monthly payments. And there's no debate when Canadians are going to the gas pump, Mr. Speaker. Fuel prices are setting records. This Prime Minister and the Finance Minister complain about the global supply chain shortage. Want to know the best example of a smooth supply chain, Mr. Speaker? Pipelines. If we could actually get pipelines built in this country, we'd get gas prices down. When will he stop the attacks on our energy sector?
Right Honourable Prime